Hi all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today we got more information about the Faye Swetlik case out of South Carolina. For those of you who are not familiar with the case, 6-year-old Faye Swetlik went missing from her front yard of her home in Casey, South Carolina this past Monday, February 10th of 2020, about an hour after she got off the school bus. We received the horrible news yesterday that her body was found. During the press conference announcing that Faye had been found in her neighborhood, police also shared that they had also found a deceased male not too far from the location where Faye was found, but they said they couldn't connect the two cases at the time. Today, police have identified the deceased male as 30-year-old Coty Scott Taylor. Taylor was a neighbor who lived not far from Faye's home, but police stressed that he was not a friend or a relative of Faye's family and that they did not know him. Police say that they were led to Taylor's home yesterday after they found specific evidence linking his home to Faye. Hundreds of people have been searching for Faye all week since her mother's heartbreaking phone call to 911 on Monday, which I will link to in my description box. Yesterday, police decided to follow the sanitation trucks in the neighborhood to check each home's trash before it went into the truck, and that is where they say they found the evidence that led them to the home of Coty Taylor. Although police have not said specifically what that evidence was, they did say that it was something that was listed on her missing poster. I'm assuming it was a piece of her clothing that she was described as wearing, or even her little polka dot rain boots. Police then did a search of a wooded area near both Faye and Taylor's homes that had already been previously searched, and that was where Faye's body was located. Police say they don't believe Faye's body was there for very long, as that area had already been searched. They say that they went to Taylor's home after finding precious little Faye and found him dead in his home. They also say that they spoke with Coty Taylor earlier in their investigation and searched his home along with other homes in the neighborhood. That, to me, is terrifying. Not only that he was obviously able to convince detectives that he hadn't seen Faye, but they searched his home and found nothing. Then where the hell was she? Where was he keeping her? The news describes his home as a townhouse type of home. The townhouses I usually see are pretty close together, so I can't imagine it would have been easy for him to lure her to his home and then later take her from his home without anybody seeing anything, unless there aren't many people living around him or he moved her in the dark. Police did not disclose how Taylor died, only that he was found in his home less than 500 feet away from Faye's home. They say that he had no previous criminal history and that he was not known to them. WLTX News 19 is reporting that although police say Taylor is connected to this case, he has not been named as a suspect. I will add links to the police press conference and news updates in the description box below if you're interested in learning more about the developments in this case. Police say that it's an ongoing investigation to see if anybody else is involved. Autopsies are scheduled for both Faye and Taylor tomorrow. This case just disgusts me. We can't even let our children play outside without worrying that they're going to be taken from us and never seen again. We don't know the details of how she was abducted or lured away, and now that Coty Taylor is dead, we may never know. But I bet it was something as simple as him walking by with a dog to get her to pet it, or something simple like that that she would have never thought twice about. And now she's gone. Our children don't understand the evil in this world. Hell, as adults, we're constantly learning about new dangers to be aware of daily. They shouldn't have to understand it. They should get to be kids and get to do innocent things like petting dogs or smiling at a stranger without carrying the burden of knowing that one wrong decision could end their lives. How long had he been watching her? Or was it just a moment of opportunity that he seized? Maybe it was as simple as him driving by, seeing her, playing outside alone, and coming back to get her. Maybe he decided her fate that quickly. We will never know. All we can do is be aware that it doesn't take anything more than a decision by an evil person to hurt our children and a small window of opportunity for them to act. Faye's mom said she had seen her just an hour before she noticed she was no longer playing in the yard. She did something as innocent as let her child play in their own front yard, and in that 1 hour, their lives were destroyed. Now, I'm no detective, but I can guarantee you he didn't need even close to that hour to lure Faye away. I bet it took just a couple minutes, and that was all he needed. That's all anyone needs to gain access to your child. Terrifying, I know. But if we're going to attempt to prevent something horrific like this from happening to our own children and grandchildren, then we need to face real facts. You never know who's watching you or your children. You never know who may be waiting for a small opportunity to get close to your child. I recently did a video about a student who was having breakfast at a restaurant and noticed a man staring at a young girl. He said it gave him the creeps, so he kept watching. He literally watched the little girl go to the restroom alone and watched the man get up and follow her. He followed too, and thank God he did, because the man tried to grab the little girl as she exited the ladies' room, and the student intervened and stopped him. He got pictures of the man and his truck and called 911. He got the man arrested, and he's a hero. Again, the man watched and waited for a chance to get the little girl alone. Her own mother didn't even notice the man watching. Thank God someone else did. People, we can't see everything, and we can't know everything. But what we can do is know that just because we can't see it, it doesn't mean it's not there. Just because we don't see someone watching doesn't mean someone isn't. Don't assume your child is safe in a public place. And don't assume you know your neighbors just because you may like them. Not because we want to live this way, but because we have to live this way. We have to be cautious if we want to keep our children safe. Too many children have gone missing. I used to work in retail, and for those of you who are not familiar with the term Code Atom, it's a drill that takes place in stores that utilize it, which should be all stores, where the entire store goes on high alert when a child is reported missing in the store. It's a drill that's named after Adam Walsh, the son of John Walsh from the show America's Most Wanted, after Adam went missing from a store and was later found dead. The drill is supposed to be taken very seriously, and all employees are supposed to participate in searching for the child. Any music playing in the store is to be turned off, if possible. Announcements giving the description of the child are supposed to be repeated regularly for a short period of time. If the child is not located in that window of time, then the police are notified immediately. We were trained extensively on Code Atom alerts and the proper procedure to follow to help find the child. The most important things we learned were to never announce the child's name so as not to give an abductor a way to bond with the child, and to make sure that we always got a description of the child's shoes. Because parents are often very upset by the time they seek help to find their missing child, it was sometimes difficult for parents to remember what clothes their children were wearing that day. But they often remember the shoes, and the shoes may be the most important. We were taught that an abductor can quickly grab clothing to change a child into just by eyeing the size of the child, but they cannot quickly change them into the right size shoes and often wouldn't even think to do so. They would tell us that they may change their clothes, but they won't think to change their shoes. It makes so much sense. A Code Atom alert requires store employees to immediately guard the doors of the store to make sure that the child doesn't leave, and also to check each child being taken out of the store against the description of the child being announced throughout the store. It is to be taken very seriously, and all employees are trained to do their part. Why? Because unfortunately, you can't just take your child out for a day of shopping without the possibility of some creep, man or woman, following you around waiting for you to be distracted for just a moment so they can grab your child. The police understand that, and that's why they train stores to do these types of drills, especially in mall settings, where it's imperative that stores share missing child information with mall security officers so that everyone can be on the lookout. Life is distracting, but we need to be aware of our surroundings, and aware that a predator can be anywhere, just watching and waiting. If we don't learn this through the loss of precious Faye, then God help us. I know this was heavy for Valentine's Day, but we want to see many more Valentine's Days, and we want our children to also. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you're staying safe out there, and if you have children, I hope you hold them a little tighter today because it's a true privilege, and Faye's parents have had that privilege stolen from them. Please join me in praying for the safe return of all missing children, and I'll see you on my next video.